Jeremy Tyndale.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Tyndall. I'm a Washington County resident in Hagerstown. I actually had a lot to say before the meeting today, but I think in lieu of this new thing you're going to try out, I'd rather pass most of my time on to one of the voices that did not get to speak last week, because I think what they have to say is much more important. So I don't know if I get to do this, so you can tell me no, but Ms. Taj, I'd like to get a chance to speak if they'll allow it.
We have to call in order.
Yep. Taz,
You got skipped last time, is all I'm saying.
you're second on the list.
My name is Taj Smith, and I reside in Hagerstown, Maryland. As president of the Washington County NAACP, several members and I came to support the Diversity and Inclusion Committee last week. We were shockingly denied the opportunity to voice our support. Your decision to limit citizen participation to a mere 10 minutes is a disgrace to this county's more than 154,000 residents. While you may think that emailing or not broadcasting our comments is sufficient for public engagement, let me be clear, it is not. Email only strips away transparency and ignores our collective voice. Last week was a glaring example of why this county desperately needs a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. The room was filled with diverse individuals, yet you chose only a select few, all of whom appeared to be white. This blatant bias is appalling. You made a mockery of public comment by selecting the speakers that you know, one of whom which was Commissioner Harvey's wife. You ignored the visible diversity in the room. I can only imagine who you ignore as you make decisions for this county. This is not just wrong, it violates your duty as elected officials. How can you claim to serve the entire county when you only listen to those who look like you? It is infuriating that you spend your comment time expressing personal opinions in social events while sidelining the voices of your constituents. If you must impose time limits, impose them on yourselves and ensure that all citizens can be heard. Your actions last week contradict the spirit of the Maryland Opens Meeting Act, which emphasizes the need for government transparency. Malcolm X once warned us that the right to be heard does not automatically include the right to be taken seriously, and clearly you have shown that you do not take us seriously. During Black History Month, with the Diversity and Inclusion Committee presenting and accepting a proclamation, you chose to stifle the voices of people of color in this room. It is not just reckless, it is a grave mistake that reflects poorly on your leadership. You are failing your obligation to engage with all constituents. We demand that you change this ridiculous 10-minute public comment adherence and allow every citizen who shows up to speak and allow the community to hear what they have to say. It is time for you to act with integrity and respect towards all of us. We will not fade into silence. We will continue to demand change, including finding new bodies to warm your seats. Stop hindering the democratic process and start listening to the people you were elected to serve.
Next up is Dave Williams.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for enforcing the 3-minute rule for comments during citizen participation. That was a good decision, but the new procedure that you've just outlined here this morning that keeps citizens' comments offline and limited to 30 minutes is not acceptable. This new procedure is not the same as participating in a public meeting where concerns can be shared with the entire community as well as with you. The First Amendment's a wonderful thing. It's great when people are civil and respectful, but as we just heard, we know that won't always be the case. But that's free speech. That's the First Amendment. I understand the need to reclaim some decorum during citizen participation portion of your meeting, but your new plan is not the solution.
Next up is Curtis Ray.
Hello, my name is Curtis Ray. Today I will be speaking.
Excuse me, Curtis. Under council here, we did have a 10-minute limit this morning total. In light of the fact that we have so many signed up, we will proceed. So go ahead.
You're allowing me to speak, actually? Oh my God. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I really am appreciative that you are willing to hear the community out, and it is good to see change on a local level. And because of this, I had a whole speech prepared that, we need change and whatnot. But it seems with all the participations and the fact that you have gone over the 10-minute guideline, I would just say, good job. I'm actually very appreciative, and I thank everybody that has allowed this to occur and allowed the public to be heard. The main concern at the last meeting was that we had over 20 some odd people that wanted to speak. And what the problem with it was that you only picked 4 people, and the other 16, they took time out of their day. They probably had to call off work. They had to get all types of arrangements happens to show up that day, and then they were blindsided that they were not able to speak. But as you can see, as long as we're willing to let the citizens speak, a lot of the discontent and unrest will disappear. You need voices to be heard for government to be applicable and have legitimacy. If you prevent citizen speech, you will get discontent. You will have people show up. As you can see, we have solidarity. We are showing up to make change in the county level. And I, for one, am very appreciative of all the people that have shown up and actually given time out of their day to support the motions for free speech. And I believe that the new motions that you are trying to put forth for the next meetings are pretty atrocious. I believe every person should have 3 minutes to speak. I would like longer, but I'm willing to compromise. And because of such, if you are willing to let everybody speak at 3 minutes, it's only going to increase the meeting time probably by about an additional 45 minutes. At most, you guys probably work about 3 hours on a Tuesday. What's 3 hours and 30 minutes? To allow people to talk. I think that in itself is worth the extra half hour. I think it would even be worth 2 extra hours. If that is all that you can do, I would be very appreciative, and thank you for allowing everyone to speak today. It was a good deed that you all did. And with that, I'll cede the rest of my time. Thank you.
Next is Les McIntosh Sr.
Good morning, President Barr and the rest of the commissioners. Thank you for this time. I come with a concern here. A lot has been spoken here today, but I hope you hear my sentiments. Knowing the national propaganda and the natural move of removing DEI and how it has creeped and that has come to a county level, I want to stand here with my concerns on the stability and the long-term of the Board of Diversity and Inclusion. I don't want to see that dismantled in any way. Change is inevitable, but there must be data that shows for change to happen. And looking at the numbers, and I know you all do things by numbers wise, so I just want to throw some numbers out in case that propaganda begin to come in this region. With the diversity in this area, Michelle, you're good with the numbers, we're 28% minority, but with our youth, we're at 41%. And that is a wide range for the future, which means I'm looking at if that would change, I would wonder if your mission statement would change as well. Your last part of your mission statement states that you're planning for the future urbanization and a cultural diverse population. If that's your mission statement, that mission is here. And for that to be happening in the next couple of years, we're going to have 41%. So therefore, we need that diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in my other concern I have is the new appointed liaison that's upon the Diversity Inclusion Committee, which would be Mr. Harvey, who has shown his national vote against DEI. And I believe that is a conflict of interest, a very conflict of interest if he doesn't believe in it, but yet he has been appointed to be in those meetings. And I hope he's there to help to direct and develop it and not try to dismantle it. But I do hope that he walks in a place of empathy, as he did with some of the writings that he did with the, the Red Team Perspective you wrote back in about Iraq, and how you saw and you actually wrote within that time frame of your empathy and sympathy towards some of those that had been underneath, that you had underestimated 30 years of them being underneath a Saddam Hussein regime, and they were not afforded the principles and the values that should have been able to step up and make change. And having that, I hope you can go back to that and have not empathy over those in Iraq, but have empathy in this country and in this place, but mostly in this county the same way, and represent if he is to stay. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. That does